Good morning, everybody. Today we are at the Daniel Boone Homestead in Birdsboro, PA. I'm here with my friend Marshall, and we're going to check out all the trails that are around this property. They're technically listed as equestrian trails, but they're paved, and so people can walk on them. And I'm really excited because there's a lot of historical houses here and different types of history, so let's go. Okay, so we pulled in off of Daniel Boone Road here, and this is probably the second parking lot or off to the left. But I saw this house here and I want to get out and check it out. I don't see a sign saying exactly what it is, but maybe there's a sign down here somewhere, so we're just going to head that way and see. It looks like a really interesting house. So this is the only map that I have. This is not an exact trail map on all trails, and this is apparently number 18, and I have no idea what that is. This is part of a tour that they give out here, but their tours are only on Saturdays and Sundays. We're just doing it by ourselves, so we'll figure it out somehow. Okay, so we're first going to check out and see if we can get in here, which I doubt, and what Marshall notices, they have firewood in this thing. So they do a lot of educational tours and stuff here, like I said, so we're gonna probably not be able to get into a lot of these places. We can look in through the windows, but look at the structure of this place. You know, you got this really cool roofing and a stone fireplace, and then of course the logs, cabin type thing. There's just stuff in there. There's a really interesting fireplace. They got tables set up in there for education. I'm just going to kind of peek in the windows as I go around here and see if I can see anything. So in through these windows we can see there's a whole bunch of bunk beds in there. It might be they have groups that come in here and, you know, like Boy Scout troops or something, and then they stay the night. Technically, this is just called the Wayside Lodge. These windows are frosted, so you can't see in them. It's got like a cute little porch here. So there was a maintenance person that came in while we were out front there. I just think this is so cool. I really wish we could get inside and really just check it out. I love the old structures like this. I just noticed out back here, there's like a little bridge. I'm gonna go see what that leads to. Looks like picnic tables and stuff over there. This is the back side of the house. Sounds like I hear water. So let's check it out. There's a little sign. Yeah, little stream. I don't know if you can hear that. I have my speaker microphone on. Sometimes that blocks out background noise. It's one reason I don't like it, but hopefully it makes my voice a little bit louder for everybody to be able to hear me. Picnic tables, a little house over there. Oh wow, way over there. There's water going over a wall. We've got to check that out. So we're just gonna follow this little path past the bridge here, and it looks like it goes around and we can get back over there towards I guess you would call it like sort of a waterfall wall. I'm not sure what it is exactly. It shows my ignorance to history. There's some kind of a little building here. And so far, no actual historical signs telling us what's what, but we'll figure it out, I guess, as we go. We're just going to go across this little bridge and go to the next building. So the next thing back here is site number 10, J. They actually don't have any names on anything. I guess you have to be on the tour or get a tour map. But this looks like a lumber mill, a sawmill perhaps. It's really old-timey. It's pretty cool. You can't get up in there. They don't. It says, danger, keep out. But look at this old sawmill. Still got a log in there. That's so cool. So that's how they sliced up the boards to make the houses. Starts with a regular old tree. Not like today where you can just go to Lowe's. You actually had to cut your tree down and saw it and plane it. It's a neat little building. So Marshall thinks, and I agree, that this was probably water driven. So we see the remains of a water wheel here. There is a little wet area down here, a creek. Not sure how much water and how much strength is needed to power something like that. But it's a possibility that, you know, the landscape was a little different back then. Wow, just so cool. You can't really get up on the platform, it tells you not to, but if you come down here, you can see the other part of the water wheel in there, where it was churning. And the cattails are a little past their prime. So we're heading up the hill from the sawmill, and there's this little house here. It's actually two small buildings, and there is a sign over here. So there's a cemetery right beside it, and this is site number 11. If I can't find any information while I'm here, I'm gonna have to go home and find out which site is which, and then add that into the video. There's two doors and a bench. Apparently this is the Dirk Cemetery, which would have been the third owner of the property from what I read. Little house back here. What is it, a privy or a spring house? Don't know. Probably a spring house, being that it's along a creek. A little bit of trimming or blue down here. Yeah, probably a spring house of sorts. Can't really get back into it. But you can see where there's a door there. Right down the hill here is part of a small creek. Very small. Or like a stream, I guess. There are some pipes and stuff that have been added to it over the years. But just look at the stonework here. Just getting stuck on these thorns. Give me a minute. This is a sign that's next to the cemetery. It's talking about the Dirk family as well as the Birdsboro Dirk family. I'm not sure. There's three separate families I read about here, which was Squire and Sarah Boone, who were the parents of Daniel Boone, and they had sold this to their Squire Boone's cousin, and then after that it was sold to another family later on. So this is the cemetery with Samuel Dirk and John Dirk. Now we're going to be heading over to this really cool water structure. So this here to the right is Daniel Boone Lake. I can't tell you much about it. I'm not sure if it's man-made or if it was pre-existing. There's some structures in the water that make me think this was a man-made lake. But here we're heading up to this, which is really cool. It's like a little waterfall here on the steps. I know there's a way to get to the other side that you can walk down. We're just on the opposite side, so we'll probably come back to this eventually. A little sort of island out in the middle of it. But it's all fenced off here at this point. But you can see there's some underwater structures here. It could have been a pier of some sort, maybe. So part of the fence was washed away, so I was able to come down here. Probably not supposed to, but this is a closer view of what we were seeing from up above there. So back up beside the lake, the trail continues. And even though there's not much in the way of labeling, we do have these green arrows. So we're gonna try to follow it for a little bit, see where it takes us. Looking at this first thing is a little structure here, not sure what it is. It's also beside the lake. I guess we're following a lakeside trail for right now. It's not on all trails, and I don't see it as part of the map, but we're just following this little trail where the arrows showed us. This is another view from along the trail of the lake. Kind of pretty views through here. One tree in the way here, but it's actually quite pretty, especially with just a little bit of the fall colors. So just be forewarned that the path, or at least this one around the lake, it's pretty overgrown in a lot of areas. But if you just give it a couple tries, you'll find the actual path, because there's a bench here and you can see the path. Just more of the lake. We decided now to go back up towards this orienting post. It's an orienteer program out here, and most of the posts have the orange triangle on them. This is 5W, and there's sort of a path through here. It's very wild, much wilder and more overgrown than I expected. So a lot of exploring to do here today. So now we're walking a little further away on the one side of the lake. It seems like the other side of the lake has most of the trails that are on the map, but we're going down this road, and it should take us across a little bridge or something over to the visitor center, and we see some other structures in the distance here. So as we're crunching along on this little gravel trail, the first thing of interest, besides the benches, which are always interesting to read, is this little structure, which I'm assuming again is yet another spring house. Has door, of course it's locked up. Has some kind of a meter on it. So we're up at a crossroads, and off to the left, there's a little structure back here I'm going to explore. It's almost really frustrating that they don't actually have plaques at most of these places. And I guess that's because they want you to buy the tour, but it is frustrating trying to figure out what's what. Hopefully once we get to the visitor center, there will be a map and we can kind of put names to the places. So this is site number 8 on the map. Much, much older structure, it looks like. The roofing is different. The log work is a little different. The stones are different on this. This looks like a little working shed. Maybe a well house, but I don't think so, because look, there's a little furnace back there. Oh, okay. This is the Birdsboro bake oven house, smokehouse. The little furnace back there. Little fireplace or whatever. We got the old work table here. And there's some interesting history on here. We'll walk around this house. It's all boarded up, we can't get in. Maybe I'll have to come back and take one of their guided tours. This is part of the orienteering path as well. Look at these such. Up there is a window. All the windows are shut. But what's interesting to me is all the different types of stone that were used in the structure of this house. The split door. Very, very cool. pretty wildflower fields here. It's all fenced in. It's probably really beautiful in the spring, but you can still see some colors. There's purples, whites, yellows, occasional other color, but it's all kind of dying off now that it's fall. But look how. So the next thing we're seeing past that beautiful wildflower field is this structure here. I guess we'll go up and see what it is, if there's a number on it. My hope is that when I get home or when I get to the visitor center, I can match up all the numbers with the sites and be able to label them in my final video. This looks like a barn of some sort, and there's a little homestead right beside it. So inside these windows, we can see from the outside, it's all locked up, but there's a full-size Conestoga wagon in there that's pre-Civil War, and it's obviously part of the tour. You can't see though. I keep trying to show the camera inside, but you really can't see inside, and it is all locked up. That is very unfortunate. But check out the stalls, little horse stalls, the split rail fence, and the older structures. We got the wall for the yard, and I imagine that's where the whatever it was grazed and ran around. All this stuff. Conestoga wagon. And then we come up to this structure, which looks like some kind of homestead. We got some water pipe coming out of there. That's neat. And it looks like there was an addition here made onto this place. Still a long time ago. Nice brick chimney. Some signs in the window I could read. This is the Blacksmith Shop, actually. It wasn't a homestead. Looked like a homestead, but you can, if you were here, you could see inside some of the equipment that was used by Daniel Boone's father, Squire Boone, who was a blacksmith. So on this side, you can see in through the windows, and you see this huge bellows to keep the fires burning really, really hot. And there's a lot of stone and stuff on the floor around the fireplace. And then here you can see where they just worked the metal, the little vice grips, table, lots and lots of hammers to work that iron. So this next place is some type of residence, and we can see that it was two different sections that were butted back against each other with two separate chimneys. I must say that it is extremely buggy out here. Really buggy. Didn't expect that. Just constantly batting them out of your eyes. So we've been looking through the windows, and inside there's a ton of either original furniture and original items in there, or very, very well made replicas, because everything looks really authentic in there. There's a writing desk, there's a table, there's a huge fireplace that was a walk-through fireplace that goes into the second half here. Just a pretty awesome place in general. We want to move in here. Wonder if they'll let us live here. Can't see up in these windows, they're too high to reach, but I imagine there'll be more of the same. Definitely gonna have to come back and take a tour here so I can find out more. But this one actually had second level. Neat. So completely around this house, there's this really cool white picket fence. They have a couple of fireplaces in the yard. It's a little box garden. Not sure if they're original or not, but they still look cool with the property. And we're coming up to this building. And with the bars in the window, it looks like a little jail, but I'm sure that can't be what it is. We'll look in here and see. It is another smokehouse with bars on the windows, but you can see back in there, there's a ladder that goes up to the top. And this is what they use in the winter months for all their meat smoking. Some work being done out here. Probably repair the fence and some other stuff. So we walked up this little path up here, and this is the actual visitor center. And still, part of this visitor center has some original structure on it. It's a nice little picture in the window. I think these are reenactments that they have for educational purposes. But it's attached to this stucco type of building. Let's see if we can get in, but I doubt it because I don't think they're open. So we finally found a map that matches up the numbers to the places. We've seen quite a few of them. I'm going to try to figure out exactly where we are and if there's something that we missed. We're at the visitor center, which is 1. And I think we've seen a good bit of them, but we may have missed a few. So now we're on our way back to the car. This is site number 16, which on the map is listed as the craft shed. I'm sure that's for groups of people, kids, etc., that they have in for events. And we're going to go back across this little bridge and go up to the parking area. There is a Dirk Educational Center, which I'm not sure if it's open or not, but if it is, I want to go in there, and then that'll be all of the historic sites at this park for today. So we're back up by the original Wayside Lodge. There's a trail off to the right behind it over here, the trail L, and it's going over to the other side of this stone waterfall structure or dam, and we're gonna walk down and see it a little closer. Old steps that you can't go up anymore. Isn't this interesting? There's where we were before. And I don't have my microphone on anymore because I had to plug into my power pack. Check this out. I'm trying to be safe about this. So you can walk up this little dirt trail. You can't go up the steps anymore, but there's a mud path on the other side of it too. Imagine there's several ways to get up here. Very cool. We're almost done here at this park. We're heading up back to the car, and hopefully I can put this together in a way that makes sense for us today. I have to use the paper map that we found at the visitor center to try to match up the sites so that I can label them for you. But we're on our way back to the car now. So we just got home from my adventure today at the Daniel Boone Homestead. There's 500 and some acres of property there, and it has lots and lots of different structures and historical things of interest there that I really had wished we could get inside of those buildings, but the tours are only given on the weekends, so you can only go inside of those buildings when they have the tours, and they're scheduled on Saturdays and Sundays. The visitor center is also only open on the weekends, so you couldn't really even get in that. But we did find this map and I've tried to line up all the things that we saw today with the numbers and put everything in the video so that you could tell which structure was what. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Namaste.